In this episode, we're going to take you behind the scenes at PaleoAdventures to see everything it takes to go hunting for dinosaurs. It's not as easy as jumping into a truck with a pick and a shovel and coming home with a complete T-Rex. That's not quite how it works. It takes planning and preparation. It takes research and logistics and luck. It takes a lot of timing and a whole lot of hoping that everything simply falls into place. Today, you're going to get a chance to see how a dinosaur hunt is planned. It's springtime here in Florida, and we're still 2,100 miles until Paydirt. I'm Walter Stein. I've been digging dinosaurs now for over 20 years. I've worked on skeletons from Texas to Tokyo. Specimens I've found, excavated or prepared, are in museums all over the world. I even have a dinosaur named after me. This is my family. My wife Heather, who's always got my back. My two crazy kids who always keep me on my toes. And this is my crew. Jason, Becca, David, Dan, and a whole other cast of crazy people. You might even see a dog in here somewhere. This is our company, PaleoAdventures, and there's bones in them there hills.
Let's get this show on the road. Or at least get the truck serviced. I guess we're not ready to get the show on the road yet. A lot of stuff to do yet. Let's see, what? Run over that mailbox.
You're gonna get it one of these days.
I'm gonna hit that mailbox one of these days. Whose idea was to put that mailbox in? I'll blame the society for that mistake. So, here we go. To Walmart. What fun. Heather can attest how much I love Walmart. It's my favorite place.
Wally World.
After about 5 minutes of shopping, I'm going to start doing this.
You get punchy.
I get punchy. Peep.
We have to get the truck serviced. Get wiper blades. What else?
Well, lots. There's a lot of stuff that has to be done before going on a dinosaur expedition. Everything from planning and scheduling to acquiring tools, supplies, and equipment. There's glue and burlap to order, and vehicles to maintain. There's field workers to hire, and landowners to contact. There's travel routes to plot out, and funding to acquire. Without a well-thought-out logistical plan, your expedition will be doomed for failure. But before all that, we've got to figure out what kind of dinosaur we're even looking for. There are literally hundreds of different types of dinosaurs that have been found over the last 150 years of exploration, and frankly, a multitude of paleontological questions that need to be answered even today. All right, so let's say we're trying to find ourselves a Tyrannosaurus rex. Well, like this one right here. This is an actual Tyrannosaurus rex tooth. Pretty cool specimen. But let's say we want to find some more. Well, we're going to have to do some background research. We have to know our prey before we can go hunting it. This involves lots of late nights reading one scientific paper after the next, studying as many descriptions and photographs and illustrations of fossil bones that you can find. I mean, how are you expecting to find a dinosaur if you don't know what they look like in the field? Since there are hundreds of different kinds of dinosaurs, and each dinosaur has over 300 different kinds of bones in its skeleton, that's a lot of mental work. Most professional paleontologists spend years of dedicated study to get their PhDs and gain this valuable understanding. So, if you want to find a T-Rex, you have to know your prey. Of course, if we lived at the same time as a T-Rex, well, we'd be the prey. Tyrannosaurus was one of the most powerful dinosaurs to ever walk the planet, some 45 feet long, incredibly powerful jaws, 6-foot-long skull, full of over 50 of these big banana-shaped daggers. Let's go say we want to find another one, a more complete one. Not just a tooth. We want to find a skeleton. Well, there's only a handful of places where Tyrannosaurus rex skeletons have been found. They're typically found in late Cretaceous rocks, about 65 million years old, and they're usually found out in the states of Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, parts of Colorado, and places in the western United States. One of the best places to find them is South Dakota. I think we're going to need to find ourselves a geologic map. Alright, so here's a geologic map of South Dakota. Well, what is a geologic map? Well, a geologic map is a type of map that displays the types and ages of rock that are exposed at the surface. I mean, we don't care what's at depth. We don't care what's 2,000 feet below us. We want to know what's at the surface. So a geologic map shows us this. Now, you'll notice with the South Dakota geologic map, South Dakota basically can be split into two different halves. Geologically speaking, of course. The eastern side of South Dakota, the east side of the Missouri River, it's all glacial till, younger rocks, all stuff that's been scoured down by glaciers, and you might find some mammoth bones, you might find some Cenozoic age stuff, but for the most part, you're not going to find any dinosaurs. West River, however, you'll notice that there's a lot of green colors, and those are Mesozoic age rocks. Now, this particular area, this is going to be marine rocks. You're going to see a lot of marine reptiles, mosasaurs, plesiosaurs, giant sea turtles, things like that might be sitting there weathering away. This band, however, this band is what we call the Hell Creek Formation. It's late Cretaceous in age. It represents an ancient floodplain that existed here from about 67 to 65 million years ago. And that is the area where you're going to find dinosaurs. So, if I'm looking for a Tyrannosaurus rex, or a Triceratops, or an Edmontosaurus, or maybe even a raptor, I'm going to want to look in that band of rocks right there. Alright, so you've got things narrowed down a bit. You have a general area in which you want to hunt. You know what rock formation you're looking in. You know what questions you're trying to answer, or you know what specimen you're looking for. Well, that's only a part of the process, because there's a lot of land out west, and some of it's public and some of it's private. And it's very important you know the difference between which. If you go out to accidentally wander onto federal land, or even state land, and you pick up a dinosaur fossil and you put it in your pocket without a permit, without a federally approved repository backing your efforts, well, that's a good 5 years in jail and a $5,000 fine. And you don't want that. Also, if you go onto private land without permission, that's trespassing, and that's illegal. Don't be trespassing. Out west, you do that, it's a good way to get shot. So, what we're going to need, if we're going to go looking for dinosaurs, and we have to make sure of our land ownership rights, our property boundaries, you're going to have to start getting some more books, some more maps. First, you're going to start with a plat map, or go down to the county courthouse and make sure the area that you want to look at you know who it is and you've contacted them and you get everything under contract and so on and so forth. Some other maps you're going to want to get are things like this. This is a BLM 30 by 60. It's not going to show you a whole lot of detail, but it will point out some of the areas that are federal land and state land. And again, you want to avoid those at all costs. This right here, these are federal zones, these orange horizons in here. That's all BLM, Bureau of Land Management. Definitely do not want to be out there hunting for fossils. The blue lands are state lands, and those also want to be avoided. The white patches are usually private. So find yourself a nice rancher, be kind to them, get permission, and get it in writing. Otherwise, you're in serious trouble. Alright, one other thing I like to do before the start of any field season, in the springtime as I'm preparing and getting everything ready, is I like to review what we've already done. Now, we've been out there digging for well over 10 years in some of these ranches. And so I've covered a lot of terrain. I don't want to redo the stuff I've already done. I like to let certain pastures sit fallow for 2-3 years before I come back to them, let erosion take over so new stuff comes out. So what I like to do first is I like to review my land ownership boundaries so I know where I can go and where I can't. And I also like to look at aerial photographs. So in the springtime I spend a lot of time looking at aerial photos and zooming in. And what I'm looking for are things like this. These are little patches of what we call badlands, and they really pop out on an aerial photograph. They stand out as kind of a lighter color, usually a sand kind of color, because, well, there's lots of sand in a badland. Now, the definition of badlands are areas where the land is eroding so quickly that grasses can't grow on it. And these are the spots where you really want to target, because you might have a Tyrannosaurus skeleton down here in the grass somewhere, but it'd be very difficult to see it. You want to find an area of active erosion, and those are the badlands. So I pull up my aerial photos and I look over the maps, and I can zoom in, and this is a way of really planning and plotting out what you're going to do in the summertime. Hunting for dinosaurs or any exploration program, it's kind of like a chess game. You want to think 3 or 4 steps ahead of the game. So you don't want to waste time when you're out there. Time in summer goes quick. So I'll plan out my exploration program. Here's a patch of badlands, for example. This is a patch I've gone through extensively. Right here, back in 2006, we found a Triceratops skeleton. You can even see the old quarry where that was found, right there. And I've already been through that. But let's say, pull out a little bit, let's say I have not been over in these areas. So if I want to go do that this summer, well, I need to figure out what township and range this is, what location it is, and make sure that's in the property boundaries. And oh yeah, there's some definitely good outcrops in along there. We've got a road through here. You can see the access, so access shouldn't be a problem. And definitely some good Hell Creek Badlands in there. So if I want to search this summer, I got to check my property boundaries, make sure I'm in the right area, and make sure I kind of plan for that and save a couple days here and there for an exploration run through this patch. Now, well, I guess the only thing left to do is pack. We snowbird back and forth from Florida to South Dakota every year, which is sometimes not so fun. It takes about 4 days drive to get from our place, our home in Florida, to our summer field camp in South Dakota. So there's a lot to pack and there's a lot to bring back and forth. including dinosaur specimens we want to put on exhibit and displays, and of course all of our tools and equipment and supplies that we need. So, an awful lot to pack and move.
The tornado that's about ready to come?
Oh, we don't want any tornadoes coming
No.
up. I don't know if that would get bad.
Oh, okay. Well, it is day one of the grand adventure. We ready to go for a ride, Simon? Let's go for a ride. We gotta go for a ride. We'll go for a very, very long ride. Oh, goodness, yes. Yes, Rabbit Land. The cabin with the rabbits. That's where we're gonna go. Go South Dakota? We'll go South Dakota? Yes. We go for a ride? Yeah, okay. Alright, everybody. Let's go to South Dakota. You ready to go? I'm waking up too. Okay. Cheers. Back medicine. I'm gonna need that. Let's see. Stuff those under here. Stuff that there. I'm running out of places to stuff stuff. Way too early in the morning for this. But I got my hat. That's the first thing you have to do at Field C. Get your hat on. That's the first thing.
Somebody sufficiently here? Alright. Raptor 1, Raptor 2. Call sign, Raptor 2.
Okay, I'm Raptor 2.
Sure. You can be Raptor 1 if you want.
No.
Just about every paleontological expedition involves a long journey of some sort. Dinosaurs can be found in many parts of North America, but the best places are usually remote corners where a few people live. Since we can't dig up dinosaurs when there's 2 feet of snow on the ground, we decided to move our winter operation to Florida, where it's nice and sunny. Florida has lots of really cool fossils, including shark teeth like the giant megalodon, mammoth bones, giant ground sloths, whale and porpoise vertebrae, dire wolves, saber cats, lots of stuff. But no dinosaurs. Florida was completely underwater during the Mesozoic era. The closest place to our winter operation to find good dinosaurs in the southeastern United States is actually Alabama. But unfortunately, its dense forests, swamps, and small landholdings make hunting dinosaurs there tough. I think we better keep heading west.
You could do some serious damage with these.
Wow. I don't know. Light it and run. Alright, we just reached Kentucky. We're at the halfway point of day 2, and we're still a good 2.5 days ride out. And Heather's talking about the coffee truck. It's right about here where the land starts to open up a little bit that I start to feel like we're getting close. Obviously we're not there yet, we still have another 2.5 days drive, but it's starting to feel like we're getting into the west, back into some landscape where I don't feel so claustrophobic. Pretty soon we'll be in Dakota, and then we're going to be near the dinosaurs. Then I'm going to be a lot happier. Tornado while being on this bridge. That would be bad. This is a long drive. This is a very long drive. South Dakota, we are here! Finally! Woo! We're getting closer to the dinosaurs. I can smell them. They're out there, Cinnamon Dog. Can you smell them? Oh, it's always a big relief when we finally hit that line. And I know we're close. We're within half a day's drive. We still got a little bit of driving to go though tonight before we finally decide to call it a day. All right, we have day 4. We are in Mitchell, South Dakota. And finally somebody wants to ride with me. I thought they didn't love me anymore, but now they do. Steven loves me.
I love you, Daddy.
Okay, that was a little weird. What? Yes, the longest history of commuting to work on the planet. That's not fair. Okay, here we are. Good morning. Beginning of the 4th day. We're finally in South Dakota. We're having a great time. Everything is wonderful. The sky is beautiful. It's nice and sunny. We got a nice drive. And we're almost home. It was right along this river somewhere where Lewis and Clark, back in the early 1800s, first found vertebrate fossils in South Dakota. In Clark's diary, he wrote, "Today we found the bones of a 40-foot-long fish coming off the banks of the river." Probably wasn't a fish they found. They probably found a giant mosasaur growing across the Pier Shale, which is 75 million years old, and it represents an ancient sea floor. We'll talk a lot about Pier Shale throughout this series. Oh, and Raptor 2? I love you.
I love you too.
Try again. No. No. And of course, what would any trip across South Dakota be like without a stop at one of the world's greatest tourist traps, Wall Drug? We just found a T-Rex in South Dakota.
Or is napping. Temporarily out of order.
Back to smiling. see it on camera because we're still a good 30, 40 miles out. We're getting closer. Those hills would have been a welcome sight to any travelers or settlers, early settlers coming across this Great Plains. You can imagine taking months to go by covered wagon across all that grassland and finally seeing those mountains rise out of the prairie. That would have been a welcome sight. Those hills meant shelter. They meant abundant firewood. They meant good water. They were, these hills were fought over by multiple tribes, as well as the white settlers. This is Rapid City, South Dakota, the largest city in this area. It's got a population of about 60,000 to 70,000 people, but they're pretty well spread out. So if you need any supplies for paleontological hunting, this is one of the best places to go find it.
Back of topsoil.
Nice and green. Cinnamon can feel it. Can you feel it, dog? Can you feel it, puppy? We're almost to Rapid City. Hey, William. There's our hill. There's our hill. Yeah, the sign looks beat up. I don't think they're there. I don't think they're there yet. Home sweet hope. Oh my, we gotta mow the lawn.
R.I.P. our lawn.
Oh my goodness, R.I.P. the lawn.
Well, looks like I'll be mowing soon. Get some extra money.
Oh my goodness. My goodness, my goodness.
Does it look like more steeper?
Nah.
Oh, good God.
We're here.
Mm.
Wow. Grass is everywhere. We need to mow.
We're here. We're here.
Long drive.
And now the work begins.
Most paleontological field camps consist of just a couple trailers or tents set out somewhere nearby the digs. Usually it's pretty low budget, and remote with no electricity or running water. Our dinosaur field station isn't huge by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a little bit more comfortable than that. Comfort has its downside, though. There's an awful lot more maintenance with our facility. A lot of stuff that needs to be taken care of before the tour guests arrive. We've got landscaping to fix, and a prep lab to set up, and some displays for our guests to look at. So, still a lot more work left to do before I can get to go in the field and actually go exploring. Okay, let's see what we got to do. There's a ton of things we still have to do yet before the tour guests get here, before we get many stuff. Okay, this is grocery shopping. I'll take the new to the truck, the Suburban, get it serviced, test drive it, change the tires, whatever we gotta do. Grocery shopping. I'm gonna call about the Wi-Fi now so we can get that up. Otherwise, the kids are gonna go bonkers. We gotta get this lawn mowed. The front looks like it's a total mess. Check the water meter. Set up to get shop and cleaned. While I'm taking the truck in, I think you can wipe everything down.
Yep.
Got
it.
Okay. Get the kids on pulling some of those nasty vines and weeds, not vines, but nasty weeds out of there. I'm gonna fix the leak before I get in the shower, so I'll do that next. And then I might have Jason go and do that, a Rapid City run, to get some bicarb for prep, and we gotta fix the dust collector. So he might be able to do something with it, but he may not. So we're gonna need a new dust collector. That's not important. I can do that anytime. As far as the screens are concerned, we have enough 1/4-inch screens that'll get us by for the first couple weeks. And then you're going to do a Salvation Army run. Is there anything else that you can think we need to do?
That's plenty for now.
We got 2 days.
Do you have the dig site ready?
I'm going to do that Friday. It sounds like Jason wants to come out, so
Oh, good.
Jason and I can get the canopy set up and dig site cleared and looked at. We can go look at that one site that I really want to get into. There's a site about halfway up the hill. When I was doing the stratigraphy work last year, it's the new site. It's called Do 22 North. And Trichymimus bones, and it's got Thessalsaurus, and got some really interesting looking stuff. So I want to get up there. We're not going to have much time, but I want to get up there as much as we can. I had to call Ryder to let him know we're running behind the 8 ball here. Let him know we're going to get out there this summer still, but it will be late.
Snap your fingers.